Hi guys, so on Sunday we popped down to a place called The Hub, and I'd met up with Steve, one of my Facebook group members, really nice guy, and we thought we'll have a quick bit of breakfast at a place called The Hub and then go for a little walk across the fields to the Bodiam Steam Railway Station. So we popped into The Hub, I just had a quick bacon sandwich, Steve had some scrambled egg on toast, a coffee, and I had a local apple juice. Really quite tasty. As you can see here, it's quite a nice place. Sort of fresh produce and things. So that worked out quite well. We had a really nice chat before we went for a walk about the cameras we're using. Steve has also got a Sony RX10 Mark IV, and he told me the reason why he had upgraded from the original Sony RX10. And I bought my RX10 and the Sony A7R3, and I've just recently bought a Samyang 14mm f2.8 autofocus wide-angle lens. So this is the first shot I just quickly took, just because the shadow was quite cool. A selfie, probably one of the best ones I've taken of myself, but you know. And then we had a quick walk across the sort of up the road a little bit, across the fields to the station. This is a motorbike that was in the actual car park of The Hub. It was just a really wide-angle shot. I just thought I'd quickly take a shot because it's kind of a cool bike, and you can see how much I've zoomed in there. This is an RX10 shot, so we're about a good quarter of a mile away from the castle. You can see an old train there. Just showing you how handy the RX10 Mark IV is, which means you can get shots like this very, very easily and extremely good quality. And then, as we wandered closer to the station, we saw a few other bits and pieces, as you'll see later on. Here's the station. So the train, we had to sit around and wait for the train for a while. So we did have a little walk around the platform and the sort of old stock that's sort of on the siding at the back. As you can see, it got quite busy with people coming and going, which was quite good. We didn't actually go on the train. We just wanted to have a quick look around and take some photos. And while we were there, I just shot a little bit of video, and also, as you'll see in a second, I shot a 1000 frames per second slow motion video of the train pulling out of the station, so fully loaded, and you can just see the steam sort of coming out. So this is sped back up. So this is still at 1000 frames per second, but I've sped it right back up. As you see it just now, you'll see it slow right back down. So this is at 1000 frames a second, sort of full speed as such. And I just love it how the steam comes through the smoke. You know, it's almost sort of magical. Look, really quite cool. So that I was quite pleased with that. That worked out well. I desaturated the colour because it was so vivid, because the sun was so clear and so bright. It actually took away from the sort of oldie feel of the steam engine. So I just dropped the vibrance slightly and the saturation, just to make it feel a little bit older. Right, so we're on to the Samyang 14mm f2.8 AF lens for the Sony FE mount. Really well controlled, actually. You know, this was the first time I've used it. So literally, you know, this was shot at f2.8. So actually, if you look to the right, you can see it's a little bit out of focus. So you know, it's very hard to get everything out of focus, especially with a wide-angle lens. But still nice and sharp, as you can see. Just some detail shots, really. Nothing, you know, too adventurous. But you know, it works. The distortion is pretty well controlled. I haven't touched these shots at all, apart from converting to black and white. Same here. You can see a little bit where I don't know actually without looking if that telegraph pole is actually level or if it is distorted slightly by the lens. I'm not sure. As you can see, nice and clear and sharp. You can see how vivid the greens are and the blues and everything. A little bit of flare there on the lens from the sun, but nothing major. I mean, it's easily removed on Photoshop. No real biggie there. But nice and sharp. Really, you know, really nice to have a wide-angle lens. Really wide-angle lens again. I used to have the Sigma 15mm diagonal fisheye, which was basically the same sort of wide angle to this, but I had to adapt it to work on the Sony A7R2 and A7R3. So I thought I'd move along and actually get a direct fitment now. So this works really well. As you can see, shot f2.8, nicely blurred foreground and sharp into the distance where I'd actually focused. This shot here, wide angle, I'd actually focused onto the ground, just probably about where you can see now, so it's probably slightly soft into the distance due to the depth. And back onto the RX10 Mark IV now. So there's just a couple of shots as we walk back across the field. It's just so usable. It's a great camera to have. It's so easy to carry around. It's a full-size camera at the end of the day, but what you can get from it and the sheer quality it captures and how usable the range is really makes that camera a really nice companion for the A7R3 or any other interchangeable lens camera you've got there. You can see a bunny rabbit there, or maybe a hare thinking about crossing the railway line while the train comes. Unfortunately, I couldn't focus on him particularly well because the haze, you can see the heat haze there. So it's as best as I could get there. And then we saw a red kite flying around just literally straight above us, about 500 feet up. So RX10 zoomed in. Worked really quite well. I'm looking straight up, so that's why it's wobbly a bit, because I'm moving around all over the place. It made it a little bit difficult to actually keep it perfectly steady. Plus, I didn't know where the hell he was going. But as you can see, the sun was trying to come into the lens a bit there, so you can see a little bit of, I suppose, barrel bounce, I suppose, if you want to call it, a bit of light bouncing in and out of the camera, slightly down the lens. This shot here, so the blackbird was actually in the hedge, and he bounced out and zoomed off, so I didn't even get a chance to move the camera, but the focusing system was locked onto him even as far over as its focusing points were, so it really makes it worthwhile having that many focus points. Nice close-up shot of a buttercup there, nice and sharp, shot f4, 600mm, looking straight down to the ground, because it will focus at 0.92 of a metre, and a toad. So we could hear all this chirping and ribbiting and God knows what else was always coming from this wildlife pond, which is right at the hub as we walk back to the car. And we finally found one of them, and he was just looking at us. Another shot through the grass. So I went right down into the grass and shot right into the distance and captured that plant there. So that's it, guys. The 14 quick summary of the 14mm Samyang. I'm going to go and use it a bit more. It was literally a quick use on Sunday morning. Really like it. It's very quick on focusing. Eye focus works really easily. If you wanted to do some portraits with it, just to be a bit different, it works really nicely. It's really sharp. F2.8, and through the range it goes to F22, so you've got quite a bit of scope there. So it's for the money. I mean, I got £200 off, so it should be 600 quid or 599. There was an open box, and I paid 400 for it, so really happy with that payment there. The bargain as such. It's a great lens. I think even for 600 quid, if you're buying it, it's actually it's well worth the money. It comes in a box with a nice sort of padded case, but I never use them anyway. The lens hood is just a click on and click off, which is fine. It's probably the only lens I would ever use with the lens hood on or lens cap on. Generally, I just leave them off when they're in the bag, so I just grab them and put them on and go, because they're in a padded bag anyway. But I think because that hasn't got any filter threads, it's a well worthwhile sort of thing, putting the lens cap back on that, just so you don't get any scratches or marks or anything on the end of the lens. Other than that, guys, any questions, please ask about it. Like I say, I've only used it probably very briefly at the moment, but it's so far I'm very impressed with it. So any questions, please, you can feel free to ask. Please subscribe. Please click the notification bell for obviously so you can see more videos that come soon. And I'll speak to you soon.